Hey, it's Cheyenne from Zula Driving School, and let's get right into talking about point of no return. Hey, it's Cheyenne from Zula Driving School, and let's get right into point of no return. So point of no return refers to when you approach an intersection. It doesn't have to be an intersection, it could be a crosswalk, but somewhere where you will have to make a judgment call as to whether to stop or to carry on through because you're too close. So let's have an intersection like so. We've got our stop line, we've got our crosswalk, and this is your vehicle here. You're approaching this junction, and your light was green, but now it just right this second it switched to yellow. So I'm gonna draw that in. My question to you is, at what point do you decide to stop or you carry on through the intersection? And let's first talk about the three factors that affect your decision. They are, number one, your speed, and tied directly to that is your distance from the intersection. So if you're going really fast, you probably are not going to be able to stop right here, or you will need more distance to be able to make a complete stop. Number two, if this pen would write, is the road condition. So let's say usually your point of no return would be here. If it's raining really hard or if it's icy on the road, then the road condition will affect how much more space you need to be able to make that same stop safely. Number three is the vehicle behind you. So vehicle behind you. If there's a large semi behind you with a lot of load, then if you slam on your brakes to stop for this light, perhaps they might not be able to stop in the same distance as you. In fact, they won't be able to stop in the same short distance as you, and you might have a collision on your hands. Similarly, if you have a tailgater, they're falling really close, and all of a sudden you go for that brake, they might not be able to have time to react. So they're definitely a factor. Anytime you see the light go from green to yellow, quickly glance at your rear view mirror, see what's happening behind you. You should always be looking at your rear view mirror every 5 or 8 seconds, but when you go for that decision to press the brake, just quickly glance and see what's happening. So I'm going to write rear view mirror as well in brackets. Now that we've talked about that, let's talk about what the cutoff point should be. So I'm filming this in Victoria, BC, and we're kind of lucky here in the sense that we've got these dotted lines obviously that divide the traffic lanes, and as we approach most intersections, these dotted lines go to a solid white line, which means don't change lanes, obviously. But you could also use this line as a guideline. Now this is just a guideline because at some intersections they're not there, or they're really short, or they're really long. But for the most part, it works out that if you're before where this dotted white lines become a solid line, if you see that light go to yellow, you probably have enough time to stop safely. But if you're past it, let's say you're here, then you should probably carry on through. Now, it works out to about 4 to 5 car lengths. Let's talk about the most important thing in this whole concept. So I'm going to write most important, and that is whatever decision you make, you stick with it. So stick to your decision. You might be thinking, why is that important? Well, Anytime we're driving, we're looking at other vehicles for clues as to what they might do next. And so other cars or other drivers are doing the same thing to us. So if you decide that you're going to brake and make a stop for this light, what's going to happen is when you press that brake, the front of your car dips. If your headlights are on, it will show very easily to the other car, okay, this car is dipping. It looks like they're losing speed, so it looks like they're stopping. What if there's a vehicle here at the intersection? They're signaling to turn left. And so as they're sitting there in their waiting position, they're looking over at you to see, are they stopping? And obviously they can see the yellow light, so they see your car slowing down. You're gonna think, oh, okay, they're making their stop. So if you were at some point to switch your decision and say, you know what, I think I'm gonna go through, and this guy starts making his turn, then you're gonna have a collision on your hands. Similarly, if you decide that you're gonna go through because you don't have enough space or you've got too much speed, and all of a sudden you decide, you know what, I'm gonna stop for this light, and you slam on your brakes, well, the car behind you is not necessarily expecting this to happen, so you might get rear-ended. So whatever decision you make, stick with it. One way you can check to see if you made the right choice after you went through is as you're going through the intersection, you're gonna see the traffic light pass above your head. And so if you can see it go from yellow to red, then you probably could have stopped safely before this line. But if you're going through and all the way through, you only see the yellow, then you went through and you made the right decision. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe to us on YouTube. Now, it's one thing for me to show you this on a board. It's another to get out there with a co-ed driver or a driving instructor and practice this on your own. You don't have to go through a whole bunch of intersections where the light goes from green to yellow. You can do this even if you're going through a bunch of green lights. All you would have to do is call out now for when you would think would be your point of no return, or where your cutoff point is. So as you're approaching, wherever you think is the point where you would stop for this light, if it were to turn from green to yellow, just shout out now, and your driving instructor or your co-ed driver can tell you, that was really close, or they might say, I think you could have probably gone through, and kind of help you fine-tune that. The same concept applies to crosswalks. So as you're approaching a crosswalk, let's say you're approaching a crosswalk and all of a sudden you see a pedestrian show up. Do you slam on your brakes to stop for that crosswalk, or are you way too close and you drive past? So this concept of point of no return is you got to make a judgment call as you're driving at some point, and this helps you fine-tune that. Now, we also have online video course that we offer, and we show you actual driving footage, and within that footage we kind of mark down, hey, this is the point where we would have stopped if the light was to change yellow or to go from green to yellow on us. And then that will kind of give you more driving scenarios that you have possibly not paid attention to before, and can help you get better prepared for your road test and just general driving. Be sure to check it out on our website at www.zula.ca.